we have right now sleet, crazy weather, and I don't know about you, but a lot of times with the crazy weather, it seems like it's a really good time to organize and do things inside as long as you keep power. And I have brought a lot of art supplies over here because I have the studio, but it's so cold in there. Even with the heater on, it's just almost unbearable to work. So I've brought a lot of my supplies over here, and you may or may not know that I live in a legit tiny house. I have 390 square feet, and it is not conducive to a lot of art supplies. So I found this cute little shelf about a month or so ago and brought it in, and it was kind of rickety, so I had to attach it to the wall, do some craziness, and then I started loading it with supplies. And of course, the more I loaded it with supplies, the messier it got, which drove me crazy because I'm not a big fan of like crazy clutter, messy. Some of the old masters, you look at their studios and there's stuff everywhere. You can't walk through it. There's papers, there's paint tubes open. No, I can't do that. I've got to have some semblance of organization. So I thought, since I'm going to have to organize this anyway, I would just let you see what I did. Or actually what I'm going to do. I haven't even done it yet. A smart video person would do it ahead of time, video it, and then come back and do the intro. I don't do it that way. It makes too much sense. So I found a great pen marker holder this morning. Yes, I went out in crazy weather, but I found a great one at Hobby Lobby, and it was on sale, which is of course even better. So I thought I would do a video and let you see like raw process of trying to get a lot of supplies in a tiny space. We'll see what happens, and hopefully I don't lose power again. If this video goes up today or tomorrow, you'll know I didn't lose power, and if it doesn't, I lost power. So I guess we can get started and see what happens.
Of course, the first thing to do is unload that little shelf, which I really like. I kind of didn't want to put anything there because I like the area between the desk and the shelf. I just like it to be cleaner and not having the shelf there. But yeah, when you have to do art in a tiny house, actually I get to do art in a tiny house, you make do. You figure it out. So that means unloading this shelf, I'm going to utilize every horizontal surface I have, which also means the bedroom. And yeah, I had music going, so there's always got to be a little jig when music is going. The desk where I'm unloading everything onto is actually where I do art and record podcasts and everything. That is the space. So yeah, this is a tiny area that I use to basically try and create as much as possible. And it's not something I necessarily planned because I love the studio, but it's just, like I said, so cold in there to try and do anything. While I'm doing this, I'm realizing I'm coming across some things that I forgot that I brought over here, some things I didn't realize I had over here. It's amazing what happens when you start cleaning up and moving things around. One of the things I did not mention when I start talking about organizing the space is I am organizing the space because I'm about to start my first 100-day project. And this is that cool little marker thing that I got from Hobby Lobby, and clearly it is. You have to be smarter than the packaging. I thought I could slide it right off. Nope. So, when in doubt, grab the scissors and go for it. And it just so happens it fits perfectly on this little shelf. I'm kind of excited and amazed and have to do another little jig. And look at that, these come out. Oops, yeah. How am I going to do this? So, next it comes to organizing this little shelf and what I'm going to put on it. I have one container over here of ink. That's it. and it's the gold, because ink is so messy and it can just stain everything. So I thought, no, I'm just gonna pull one over here. And that confused look is because I just bought 3 new Posca markers and I can't find them. I don't know what I did with them. I don't know where they are. They were right here on the desk. No clue. Totally lost. Why can I not find them? They do show up. I just don't know where they are at the moment. Yeah. So, puzzled, I keep going. Those top shelf or the second shelf I'm using for painters. I think they're Elmer's painters. And I know I have more of those too. I'm just not sure where they are. And that's part of the process of just trying to put things together and clean everything up, is what goes where and how do you put it, and what do I need to grab, what do I need access to really quickly or want to be able to find. And I'm so frustrated at this point because I cannot find those markers. And I'm like, where did I put them? So in the bedroom, I have a really cool antique chesty type thing at the foot of the bed, and I've got 2 baskets there full of Sharpie markers and just an assortment of other markers. And I'm thinking, okay, well, let me pull out the painters and let me see if I drop the Posca markers that I can't find in there, which clearly I did not. But then I started finding other markers I didn't realize I had. So I did have some Posca in there, but it wasn't my new ones that I'm looking for. And I like using Posca probably more than anything. And then I found also, which I did not realize I had, were some Papermate Flair. I thought I had a couple, but I had more than I ended up with. And I thought, well, let me move the painters down, put the Posca on the top, and then put the Papermate Flair underneath those, because I do like to use those a lot. I don't have a ton of them. I don't have a ton of anything. I am such a mixed bag. I have a little bit of everything, not a ton of everything, but I kind of like it that way because I like the variety. I have more painters than I thought I did because a couple of the classes I teach, I have for the students to have the painters. And so I had like a shelf and a half of those, and then there I'm finding more of those Papermate Flairs, and then I find some of these really cool, I don't know if you know what Lepen are, L-E-P-E-N. Those are a lot of fun to use because they're very thin, very fine marker with great colors, bright colors. And I have just looked outside because it's making noise, and yeah, we've got sleet coming down. And I have no idea what that is. Obviously, don't even remember buying it, but don't need it. So my thinking is I will pull the markers out of those 2 baskets, the things that I want to use, and organize those, and then take the 2 baskets back over to the studio. Because if I'm not using it, I don't have any reason to have it over here in this tiny house. So now I'm pulling out paintbrushes and scissors and just extra stuff out of this container, which I love the container, but it's kind of big. And those paintbrushes are taller. And occasionally, one of the reasons I attach the shelf to the wall is because I have the 2 cats, and Rowdy is so inquisitive. She loves to get up on the shelves. So I had to make sure it was attached. And she also likes to grab my paintbrushes. And I finally found the Posca markers that I bought. Yes, for some reason I went in and stuck them in the bathroom. No clue why. I guess it was just the quickest, easiest place to put them earlier when I was trying to move stuff around. Brilliant. I know everybody keeps their markers in the bathroom, right? Now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do? I don't use the paint that often. I use it, but it's not something that I'm going to constantly, like the markers or my watercolors. And I thought, well, if I pull this down to the next shelf, I can organize it by color. Yes, that's a crazy thing that I do, is organize kind of by color scheme. And on that second shelf, I can put the journals that I'm working in, the other markers that I have, which the other markers I use are the Tombow. I've been using those a lot. And what else is it? Oh goodness. The watercolors, and then my pastels. So I'm just gonna pull the paint down, kind of organize it a bit into a somewhat simple or similar or something scheme of colors that I can kind of know what I grab when I grab. Now I can put these journals on the top because these are the ones that I'm using and the ones that I work in, the ones that I'll be doing more videos on soon. And I need to keep those pretty close so I can just kind of grab them without having to dig. And I've tossed all this stuff on the bed because there's more room. And it's funny because that Canson journal I've already done. I think I've already finished it. I probably need to, nope, that's not the one I finished. That's the one that I've got some work I'm doing. And it doesn't fit on that shelf, but then later I find out it fits on the bottom shelf. So that works. So I have a set of philosophy watercolors, which I love. You can get those on Amazon. And then I have just a set from Michaels, an inexpensive, but it works great and I love it. And now I figured out washi tape can go obviously up there. And those are just 2 bags of ephemera. I've done a couple of swaps, and a dear friend in Florida sent me an adorable baggie full of, actually I don't even think we did a swap. I think she just sent it to me because she's such a doll. It's Elaine Perez. Such an amazing gal, such an amazing artist. And I haven't even got to use any of that ephemera. I'm ready to use it though. I am ready. It's probably going to go in this 100-day project. And that little red container is full of miniature little pieces, the like tiny postage stamp pieces of art that I made. And some of those may go in the 100-day project too, which I'm not going to tell you yet what the 100-day project is going to be. I'm going to tell you it's a 100-day project. So that's the Le Pens. They're very thin, very fun to use. So on that shelf I have the Le Pens and I have the Papermate Flare. And then I've realized I've got more washi tape than I thought. And I'm thinking, well, if I take these things out and I turn the washi tape on its side and kind of corral it, it's not going to go anywhere, which I was afraid it was going to fall on the floor and the cats would play with it. Because I do lose washi tape because Rowdy, if I set it on the desk, I have a trash can under the desk. And 9 times out of 10, if I can't find the one I'm looking for, it's because she's knocked it in the trash. So I'm realizing it's my painter's tape, and I'm realizing I'm just going to maybe have to lay that on its side. And then these are some other papers that I've made that I'll be using. So this first attempt, again, this is like back and forth trying to figure out what works and what doesn't work. So I've got sticker paper and stencils and more just collage paper that I've made. There's the journal that I'm thinking, why do I even have this over here? Because I've finished it. I might do a journal flip on that one. We'll see. I could always go back and do the opposite sides in that book. So I'm going to try it this way with these papers and things and just lay them down like I had them. And it's not my favorite. And I can just toss those journal papers back in that little trunk chest thing. And this is 2 containers of gesso. And I don't know if it's good or not. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's still good. I'm not going to toss that. So I put that up, and now I've got a dirty paintbrush to clean in a minute, which is fine. So back at it, I remembered that I have one of those baskets again that I've brought over. And I thought, well, let's try the paintbrushes. And no, I don't like that at all. And is it even going to fit on this shelf? It does. And then I realized, oh, I can put it in here and put the ephemera and the stencils and all those goodies in there. And it's contained, it's out of the way. And I can put that in there standing up, and sticker paper goes underneath, and it works out perfectly. So that makes me very happy. But then I'm like, what am I going to do with all these random markers and all this other stuff? I really don't need that monster tape measure over here. I mean, I use it, but I don't need it. And those are 2 new markers I just got, and I cannot even pronounce the name of them. They're from Tombow, and they're great for lettering. I haven't even tried them yet. I can't wait to try them. And then I'm realizing I've got all these random markers and things, and what am I going to do with that? And I use them, but I don't really know what I'm going to do with them or where I'm going to put them. I remember I have flower containers, vases and things, and different little containers in the closet in the bedroom, and I find one that I think this just might work. Yep, pretty good. Now where am I going to put it? Because it's not going to fit with the large one on there, so how am I going to do this? And now let's organize this container. So there's brushes. Rowdy might still get up there and smack them down. Maybe she won't. We'll see. But I've got so much random stuff in this coral container that I've got to figure out what to do with it. And of course, the best thing to do is just sort it all out and what goes where. I have lots of colored pens, like literal colored pens. When I do my planning and things, I use colored pens because it helps me sort stuff out and see things easier. So this is just, again, the sorting process, trying to put like things together and things that I'm going, I don't even know why this is in here. Glue sticks, which are important. Pencils, random watercolor things. And then I realize I've got all these white pens, Jelly Roll and, oh gosh, a couple of others in there. And I use them, so okay, well, let me just throw them in here. And then a couple of black ones that I use. I found the Papermate Flare black ones that I didn't realize, and then my microns, because I use the microns a lot. So basically, sorting supplies. And this is the container. Whoops. Ha! There it went flying. This is the container I keep on my desk with regular pens in it and a couple of midliners and things like that I use just for writing and working and stuff. And I thought, well, I don't really need all of these in here, and there are actually some colored pens in here that I don't even use. And of course I need to have screwdrivers in with art supplies. It makes total sense, right? So organizing this stuff is, again, putting like things together, asking myself, am I really going to still use this? Is this something I need? Is it something I don't need? And whatever I need, I mean, like, of course I need 3 pair of scissors right here together, but oh well. Now I can put those in the basket and take them back over to the studio once it stops sleeting, because now we are in a full-on sleet mode in here. And writing pencils, I'm gonna need. Where am I gonna put the rest of this stuff? So that goes back in the closet where the other one came from. I might decide to use it. It's obviously not a vase. And then this tiny little journal that I've been working in. It's really small, doesn't stay closed very well, so I put a tiny bulldog clip on it. And of course, shove it in with the rest of them, so I'll come back and work on that journal soon. That's the one that has the parchment paper landscape in it. Now I'm realizing that I have some regular art paint over here that I really don't use because it's too big of a mess to try and pull out. I don't have a big enough space, so that's going to go back to the studio. Random trash, that's always a good thing to get rid of. And coming down to the end of it, a little more jig because the music is good. I have no clue what I was listening to. Obviously not what I'm using for background music, because that's what I was listening to was the radio, and that's not copyright free music. And this is pretty much it. Those are two amazing art books that I'm just going to put with the rest of the books that I have. Throw the scissors in there, and yep, I think that's it. I think. And then of course I need to take one more look. Yeah, okay, there we go. Well, I am ready to get on the 100-day project. It's gonna start, I'm gonna start mine the 1st of February, and it will go for 100 days, and I'm really excited to share with you what I'm doing on this project. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So, one thing down, and now next thing up. Working on a 100-day project and some collage material for it. Thanks for watching my video. My silly cats are just all about taking naps. And if you like this, if you got some ideas, please give it a thumbs up. I would really appreciate it. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. And of course now Mickey's got to get in on taking his nap. He's been right there asleep the whole time. I have spoiled cats.